So this is skin with a dermal neurofibroma. So these are three slices of the same skin excision. So you can see that there is a nodular circumscribed but unencapsulated lesion in the dermis. Okay, so it does not involve the epidermis. You can see the epidermis is quite intact. Again, you can see in all three slices circumscribed unencapsulated lesion. And another thing that you may be able to appreciate at low power is that decellularity is uniform throughout. There is no areas that show alternating hyper or hypocellularity, and there is no obvious nuclear palisading present. So zooming in into one of these pieces, because they all look quite the same, so you can see that the lesion is made up of these short spindle cells. So these are spindle, they're quite elongated, but they're not massively elongated, so there's short spindle cells, and the nuclei is quite wavy, and some of them looked a bit buckled, like slightly comma shaped. The interspersed stroma contains collagen, which, as you can see here, you have strands of collagen which are sometimes referred to as shredded carrot collagen, and that is also one of the features of this lesion. So if I move on to the surface, so coming up to the epidermis, again you can see that there is a gap between the lesion and the epidermis, so the epidermis is not involved. So those are the salient features of this lesion, which is a neurofibroma. The fact that it is circumscribed but non-encapsulated, as well as the uniform cellularity throughout, i.e. lacking the alternating hyper and hypocellular areas, are good differentiating features between this lesion and a schwannoma. Also, the fact that the lesion is circumscribed, so the edge of the lesion is circumscribed, this also makes another differential diagnosis, which is dermatofibroma, slightly unlikely, because dermatofibroma tends to have an irregular border infiltrating into the adjacent dermis. An incidental lesion or an incidental finding in this particular section is actually the presence of non-caseating granulomata, which you can see here, aggregates of activated histiocytes here as well, but this is just incidental, probably due to another pathology, and is not a typical finding in neurofibroma.